two LSE African miners have just made major moves. Premier African Minerals have confirmed they have sellable lithium grades, while Kodal Minerals has a stockpile of that beautiful powder, 45,000 tons of it. All they're waiting for is the green light to get this shipped. In today's video, we're going to explore what this means for you as an investor and what this means for the two companies as a whole. Welcome back everyone to Buy Hold Sell. I hope of course you are all well. Yes, slightly tanned, slightly burnt. I've just returned from a fortnight away in the beautiful Algarve, Portugal. It was a fantastic time with the family and we're back to the grind, back to what I enjoy, back to talking about African miners. We love it on this channel, and if you love African miners and you love lithium grades and all that good stuff, this is maybe a channel that you wish to subscribe to. Feel free to do so. So let's get started in Zimbabwe, where Premier African Minerals has its Zulu lithium project. A few days ago we had an RNS drop where George Roach gave us a fair indication of where Premier African Minerals is sitting. He confirmed that the next 5-day test run is ready to go, which is fantastic because we thought there might have to be a fundraise. We weren't sure how this was all going to be funded, but it looks to be it's all ready to go. OEM suppliers are already on site and everything looks like it's going to go ahead. The key progress includes sellable spodumene concentrate above 5% lithium oxide achieving during last run. Adjustments are being made to reach an optimal 150 micron grind size, critical for recovery efficiency. Reintroduction of chemical activator from 2024 testing, which had previously boosted recovery. That's the key takeaways from it. It all actually genuinely looks like this is actually going to work, and I can't believe it. I really have to take a step back and think about all the blood, sweat and tears that us shareholders have had to suffer over the last load of 4 or 5 years. The absolute euphoria of the highs of thinking we're going to go to 1p and where the share price is now, it's been incredible, but it does feel like there's a recovery. It does feel like I need to consider here averaging down. I'm still holding, still sticking to the plan. We haven't quite got there yet, but these are very, very encouraging signs. George went on to say this next test is expected to deliver another major step in the optimization process. And he added, we're confident the mill has surplus capacity. It is not a matter of grinding more. It's about avoiding over milling. He also hinted that the final concentration based on the optimization, obviously here, if that all goes to plan, could be higher. The lithium oxide levels could be higher than what they are currently, which again would be fantastic news. So the juicy stuff that we're really interested in is the future. We know that this is all about getting the site run. We know George Roach is leaving. We've covered it all in the other videos. I suppose we're looking at, well, what's the future look like with Graham Hill? How's CAMAX involved? What about all that Glencore rumours? Well, he did talk about it in a Stockbox interview. He said the goal remains. It's all about getting Zulu to delivering on a consistent basis. Steady state production, I think was his words that he used, with a 22-day month availability target. And once that's achieved, that's when we'll have the discussions with Glencore and CAMAX, especially CAMAX, about the overpayment arrangements and how all that looks. He went on to say, if we come out on the right side of the next 5-day test run, it's going to be a very different conversation. And that's very encouraging. Right now, we know CAMAX kind of have us over a barrel. They've been reasonably fair, I think, considering the force majeure. You know, that still sticks out in my memory from years ago. We haven't probably been very good to them. You know, we've promised them stuff, we've taken their money, not delivered on anything. We've threw the toys out of the pram. We've tried to force them into contract negotiations. You know, considering where we are, we don't really have too much negotiating power. I feel like we've tried our best, so it'll be interesting to see if we can actually get all this to a certain point, how CAMAX will play with us. So now let's have a look at the spodumene prices, because it's all well and good that we have sellable grades. We also well and good that we have tonnage potentially to ship with Kodal, but if it's worthless, well, it doesn't get us too far. So I'm delighted to report, if you have a look here, we can see the spodumene prices, while they have dipped, we've seen a high of over $810, which was lovely. We're at 757 here, up on the day, but that's fine, because if you recall in the other videos, we talked about the break even. What profit needs to be made here to cover all our expenses to make this company worthwhile? Well, it's about 650. So we're a good $100 above, which is very nice. Now, we'll get into the charts with Premier African Minerals towards the end of the video, but the next one we want to talk about here is Kodal Minerals, another ticker that we've been in for 4 or 5 years. This is one that has probably went the slow and steady race, and it looks to be winning the race at this stage, but there's been one hiccup. It's actually getting the permission to ship this stuff. It seems crazy because it has a massive impact on the government themselves, but they give us a bit of an indication here that things are moving in the right direction. So we're going to take the conversation now to southern Mali, and we're going to talk about the Bougouni lithium project now. And the holdup, as I said, is permits. It's getting the authorization to ship this stuff. But the good news is, it's not like it's held things up. Effectively, what they're doing is they're continuing mining. So put it this way, in simple terms, if we were able to export this when we wanted, we might have shipped 10,000 tons, 15,000 tons. But what we're doing is stockpiling it. As soon as we get that permit through and we get the go ahead, all what we've been mining over the last months or so will be shipped. And Bernie gives an update of what that stockpile looks like. And it's sitting at 45,000 tons. And he even went on to say it's continuing. It's wet season out there, difficult conditions, a bit of flooding, but we're still mining. We're still achieving our goal. It does run us into a bit of bother because we're obviously spending a lot of money on all this equipment and the diesel and the running costs, and with nothing coming in. So there is a risk there, a huge risk. If this comes through as, sorry, you're not allowed to export, where the government comes out and goes, we're not interested in making any money here, forget about it. We are screwed. That's the huge risk. But the likelihood, to me, seems slim. Now, Kodal dropped an RNS yesterday just to give us an indication of where this all sits. So the government has come out. They've actually checked the site. They've seen it all. They've clearly in negotiations at some stage. They're clearly keen to do something here, otherwise they just completely ignore it. But Bernie did go on to stress, guys, we need to get this stuff shipped. We're running out of storage, which will halt things, which will put a stop to production. And he went on to say, we're running out of storage. We've shown the government we're ready. The visit from Mali's Minister of Mines and the regional governor was a positive signal. Help but think that that is true. Why would they take interest in this if they're not considering it? He went on to say that the wet season has restricted lower pit access, but free digging operations continue. Meanwhile, the training of a fully local Malian operations team is ongoing. A strong tick for the ESG credentials. They're doing everything right. Just give us the go ahead, please. Just give us the go ahead. Let this stuff start being shipped and we start making some bank. And Bernie is doing everything to get this shipped as fast as possible. They're having negotiations with the Ivory Coast ports. They're imminently ready for this to come. And once this comes, they will be getting shipped. And don't forget, we get 95% on shipment, 5% on delivery. So money could effectively be with us any day now. It's gonna move as quick as that. The Minister of Mines met with the President and told us fast track process is now in place. So again, you're hearing that. Bernie's always been quite coy. He's never really said or, overstretched himself. He only really speaks on stuff that he's going to deliver on or factual. So this is a really positive sign. Now, to my surprise, the share price hasn't really moved on this news, which is a bit strange. I'm not going to lie, it's a bit strange because let's do the sums on this. They're sitting on 45,000 tons, and if we even just say roughly $100 per ton profit, we're sitting on £4.5 million worth of stuff. $4.5 million worth, sorry, should I add, of stuff that we could be shipping. Our market cap is sitting at about 70 million. So suppose in theory we're maybe highly priced at this stage. Is that what people are thinking? Baking in the risk? There's a lot more to this. I mean, the whole asset itself and this plant and the structures and everything that we have, I feel like 70 million is fairly justified, but potentially it's just people are just being a bit overly cautious at this stage, I would assume. I think when this gets to go ahead, that serious amount of shipment and that kind of money rolling in is going to fairly change this market cap, in my opinion. So now let's have a look at the share prices. We can see here that Premier African Minerals has broken out of the 200-day moving average. We are just about in a bull run, very much hanging on to it. We're trying to get above it. We're struggling a bit. It's a sell-off today. It's a red day. The RSI is showing that we're going downwards. MACD potentially is going to cross over. So we strip it to the 4R to get us a bit of a better gauge of what the direction is. And it does look like it's on downwards trend. This is potentially going to be where I'm going to strongly consider buying. If this sells off and goes down, and move it back to the day chart, we maybe get down to around the 0.025 levels. That's potentially where I'm going to have a nibble at, sort of around this level. We just got to watch it carefully. Not a lot of buying pressure coming in, not a lot of interest. It's just fairly stale and flat. And I think it's maybe people know the history of this. There's a lot of stuff being delivered. It's never been delivered. It's all well and good what they're saying, but there's still work to be done here. So let's just see where Prem goes in the near future. I mean, if I hadn't have a large position in Prem, it would be a different story. This would be positive and I'd be buying, but I'm balls deep in Prem. A lot of money in Prem. Throwing a few grand at this isn't really going to make much difference to my top line. So that's where I'm being cautious on. Let's have a look at Kodal Minerals. Kodal Minerals, unfortunately, hasn't been able to push that bull run. bit similar to Prem, to be fair. It's tried, it's going, it's been rejected. Unfortunately, it's been rejected. But unlike Prem, it's had that cool off, sideways motions. It's let the RSI cool off a bit, get us out of the overbought territory. Plenty of volume though. This is what I like. Plenty of volume. There is interest, definitely, in Kodal Minerals here. And if we move this to the 4 hour chart, it's complete different from Prem. We've had the cool off. We can see here, if we look at the MACD, it's just crossed over. This would be a sign to me of a bullish movement now, coming potentially on Kodal. And if we break above this, I think we'll push hard, and do definitely expect to see that zero point 0.4 range very, very soon. It all depends on news, but that natural trajectory, the news today, this is bullish. This, while it's a red day and it's not had a pump on that news, it feels like the institutions, it feels like steady buyings coming in, and the momentum should push on. And realistically, if we break out of this channel here and get above this level, then your next target is going to be 0.5. And if we look at where we are right now, that's going to show you in and around about a 40% range of a jump. Kodal's looking attractive, as is Prem. Different risks, different scenarios playing out. So in summary, where are we going? Well, Prem is just about to have consistent output. That's where Kodal is right now. They've got consistent output, can't get shipping. Prem, if they can get consistency on the production, sorry, they can ship. It's almost who's going to get there first. If they can consistently do it, they're going to have big discussions with Glencore and Canmax. A lot more uncertainty potentially around Prem, but it is all positive if they can deliver. Kodal, same story we've been talking about for the last sort of 6 8 weeks. They're in limbo. Can they get this permit? There is a bit of a risk there, obviously. If they can't, it's bad news. But with the recent negotiations and Bernie's coyness over the last load of years, I am confident that he feels that this is going to go in the right direction. And even logically, it makes sense. Do you want money? Yes or no? No. What? Whoever says no to money? It just makes sense to me. Stockpiles are getting to a level where capacity levels are going to be struggling. That's a bit of an issue there. We don't want production to stop. And let's not forget, spodumene prices are going in the right direction, and the market is hungry for spodumene. So generally, the sentiment is in a better state than what it was a couple of months ago. And that is the video. Appreciate a bit of a long one, but I wanted to cover all of the details there in both stocks, where it really sits. And if you're interested in more of the details, there's plenty of videos. I'll share the playlist to the lithium miners. We love our lithium miners here. High risk, high reward, all fun and games, of course. If you like these types of videos, again, I'd ask you to subscribe to the channel. If you want to get into the Discord, where everyone's got a good buzz about it in there, plenty of chat, plenty of optimism, which is good. It's been a long road. Shareholders have really dug deep here, and hopefully we will all get rewarded very, very soon. It does feel like we're on the brink of something pretty awesome. Hopefully that is enough in this video for you, and I will see you all in the next